Am I the asshole for locking my roommate's cat out of my room at night? I am 20 and share a place in Melbourne with 2 roommates. One of them has a cat named Noodle. He is very sweet during the day. At night he becomes a menace. Noodle has decided that my room is actually his room. He knows how to push the door open. At 3 in the morning he sprints inside and jumps on my chest. He knocks my water over. He yells for food, even though he has already eaten. I wake up terrified every time. I am in uni, and I also work mornings. I need sleep. I asked my roommate to keep him out of my room at night. She laughed and said that I should feel honored that he picked me. I do not feel honored at all. So I started locking my door before I sleep. Now Noodle sits outside my door and screams like he is being tortured. My roommate got angry and said I was being cruel to him. She insisted that if I cared about animals, I would let him sleep where he wants. I told her that Noodle is her pet and her responsibility. She said that it is my fault for giving him attention in the first place. I petted the cat that lives with me, and now it is apparently my punishment to never have proper sleep again. Last night she said the crying is causing him stress and changing his behavior. I told her the only real behavior problem is that she refuses to train him. Now she is giving me the silent treatment and telling our friends that I hate animals. I do not hate Noodle. I just do not want to be body slammed by a 10-kilogram fur missile at 3 in the morning. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You're entitled to a good night's sleep. Not trying to be rude, but let this be a lesson for you. While the cat is hers, securing your room is your job. This is something that should have been nipped in the bud in the first night he did that. Don't let your roommate manipulate you. Not wanting animals in your room while you're trying to sleep doesn't mean you hate cats or are being mean to her cat. She's an off for not handling this sooner and for making it seem like you're in the wrong. Definitely not the asshole. It's her pet, and she should not be so entitled. What's surprising is she allows the cat to sit there and cry while accusing you of hating animals faced with tears of joy. I'm interested to know the perspective of your other roommate. Not the asshole. I keep my bedroom door shut at night because I have cats and I need my sleep. They protest first, but give up after they get used to it. If the cat is so stressed this causes it to get sick, the owner needs to deal with it. If the cat behaves during the day but becomes a menace at night, that means it doesn't get enough activation during the day and all that unspent energy is released at night. More play during the day or a playmate, other cat, helps. Giving a roommate the silent treatment does not. 10-kilogram fur missile had me spitting out my mocha. I won't go into the visions which came into my mind. Anyway, I know how you feel. I've had this exact problem and locked the cat out of my room at nights too. The difference here is that the owner of the cat understood and tried to do something about it. Unfortunately, we just ended up getting a cat bed and putting it outside my room as she wouldn't sleep anywhere else at night. The upside is that she did stop wailing all night at least. Maybe my bias talking, but not the asshole. I think your roommate is quite out of order for how she's going about this. She really should do something about her cat. Not everyone wants to sleep with a cat in their room, and you pay for your personal space. Not the asshole, I'm an animal lover, but if I had a cat and roommates, it'd be my responsibility. Is she going to pay your security deposit if the cat destroys the place? Or replace any broken or damaged furniture as a result of the cat launching, scratching, etc.? I think you need to have a sit-down chat. She needs to stop bad-mouthing you and deal with the energetic kitty at night in her own room. Probably why she was delighted to have the cat come join you, so she didn't have to deal with it. Not the asshole. You can be kind and respectful to Noodle without sleeping with him. Am I the asshole for making my sick boyfriend stay at his mom's? My 21 boyfriend, 22, has CHS, which is where you get ill from weed which develops from years of excessive usage. It's been an issue in our relationship because every time he gets sick he is debilitated and can't do anything except lie in bed and puke. When he is sick, I usually have to sleep on the couch so I can try to get a decent sleep before I go to work. Recently, it's been getting really bad. At first it would happen once every 3 months, then once a month, then every time he smokes. I just feel like I can't deal with living with someone who self-induces illness every week. So I told him if he smoked this weekend and then he got sick, he had to stay at his mom's house. He reluctantly agreed without thinking it would actually have to happen. Well, lo and behold, he gets sick the day after he smoked. Who would have thought? True to my word, I drove him to his mom's house to stay the night. Initially, she agreed he could stay over. Now she is pissed at me because I forced him out of his own house. He is mad too, less so but still. So I will admit I never asked her if it was okay if he could stay there. I just kind of assumed, because my mom wouldn't care if I needed to stay the night for something like that. He called her and she agreed he could, but is now mad at me and threatening to drive him back. I'm just at my wit's end. I can't deal with living with someone with this condition who refuses to quit permanently. I understand it's an addiction, but I just feel like I'm gonna snap. So is this unreasonable of me? Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Dump him. This is who he is, and there's no reason to think he will ever change for the better. You're just starting out in life. Why take on such a terrible burden? I understand it's an addiction. Does his being an addict somehow make your life better? Despite his illness, he continues to smoke and make your life difficult. Not the asshole. Please dump him and move on. You deserve better. Not the asshole. You did sort of spring this on mom, but maybe she can be the nag for a while. There's an old joke. Doctor. It hurts when I do this. Stretched arm out straight. Then stop doing that. Your boyfriend is an idiot. He's so addicted to smoking weed that he'll put up with the painful reaction to it. That's madness. Leave. He's obviously not going to stop. It's a vicious spiral downward. Not the asshole. Here's how my brain sees it. If he smokes, he gets sick. He's choosing to smoke, so he's choosing to get sick. This results in you not getting enough sleep. I don't think that making him stay with his mom is that bad, although you could have just made him sleep on the sofa. Jesus, you're 21 years old. Move on and enjoy the best years of your life. Oof, don't involve mom. Just break up now, cause at this point she's never gonna like you again, LMAO. Am I the asshole for telling this joke? I, 19M, am a university student. I was chatting with a group of friends, and one of my closest friends mentioned that next year they would be studying abroad. I said, study abroad? I think the polite thing to say is study a dame. This got a pretty good laugh from everyone, and the conversation continued normally. Later, my roommate, 20M, confronted me, saying that he didn't like how the joke used the word broad in an outdated sense, and that it could be construed as offensive to women. I argued that since the word was outdated, it was clear that it was a joke, and that the joke's punchline was that I misheard a word, not that I was being demeaning to women. Either way, I'd like to think that I'm respectful to women. I need to know whether it's a good idea to tell this joke in the future, even if it's only to people who already know me well. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Bad joke, but not offensive. Not the asshole. It could be construed as offensive to women, means that he's trying to take offense, not that anybody actually did. This joke and variations of it is also super old and has been around for decades, and your version is actually one of the milder ones. Will you study abroad next year? I'm gonna study as many as possible. Sorry, I am a woman and I would find this funny. Totally blew it out of proportion. Not the asshole, it's a really corny old joke. Especially because no one says broad anymore, since the 1940s. More of a great-granddad groaner than anything else. But not offensive. To be offended, by this is going around looking to be offended. Face with rolling eyes. Note, Bette Midler utilized this corny gag with her 1980 book, A View from Abroad, a memoir recounting her early life and a world tour that she had just done. Her whole retro shtick at that time was being a brassy broad, like a modern-day Sophie Tucker. 1920s original brassy broad. Not the asshole, but don't do stand-up comedy though. Not the asshole, it's just another case of somebody being offended on behalf of somebody else. I'm sure there's probably a word for this by now, but I don't know what it is. Am I the asshole for taking the attention/love of my SILS baby? Throwaway account because brother follows my main. I, 17F, have a brother, 31M, who is married, 32F. They have a daughter, my niece who is 2. Lately my SIL has expressed to me and brother that she feels really disconnected from my niece, saying she doesn't like to be hugged, talked to, or even looked at by SIL. I had a family dinner last night, where niece was having a particularly big tantrum, but everyone was sort of ignoring it, trying to get their food and sit down. I saw SIL looked really overwhelmed, so I offered to play with and calm down niece. She immediately just nodded and went to go get food. I was more than happy to help. I managed to calm her down fairly quickly, and I saw SIL watching. This is where I might be TA. I said to niece, look, it's mommy, isn't she so pretty? Do you like playing with mommy too? My niece shook her head at this. SIL looked really upset by this, so I went into fix-it mode. I said, why? Isn't mommy fun? I bet you and mommy have lots of fun, niece's name. To this she kept shaking her head and was now irritated again, so I dropped the conversation and went back to calming her down. Like half an hour later, she sort of knocked herself out on the couch after I gave her some food, and I finally got around to getting some food and sitting down. Sil seemed kinda upset, so I told her not to worry, and obviously niece doesn't mean it. To this she sort of got angry and told me I was taking the love that her daughter should have for her by playing with her, and I was rubbing it in her face when I asked, "Isn't mommy fun?" I told her this was not my intention at all, and I was so sorry and I just wanted to help, but she still kept going off on me, so I sort of just let her talk, and I shut myself up. My dad walked in and heard and told Sil to chill out for a second, which pissed my brother off, and then everyone just started fighting. I took this as my sign to just go upstairs, and I told Sil we could pick up the convo another time, because no matter the situation I don't communicate through yelling at people. But I match energy, so if she's going to continue yelling and screaming its best, I just leave for right now. She just agreed and said I should fuck off upstairs. So I did exactly that. I have not spoken to her or brother since then, and am wondering if maybe I should reach out and apologize or how I should go about this. So I want to know opinions on if I'm sort of more leaning in the wrong or not. Edit. To clarify, me saying, "Isn't mommy fun?" was more of like a rhetorical question where I more stated it to her than asked her. Sorry if that was confusing. Not the asshole. You have done nothing wrong. Children this age have favorites. My niece at age 2 wanted nearly nothing to do with her mum and only wanted dad. Not long later mum could do no wrong and dad was out the picture. It's just how they develop. It can definitely be tough for the parents, and I'm sure your Sil isn't loving it, if she's the one currently out of favor. That said, she is the adult and the parent, and she needs to learn to manage her emotions. Her taking her frustration out on you isn't fair at all, Imo. She owes you an apology, not the other way round. It's a tough learning curve, but she's got a lifetime ahead of being both the kid's favorite person ever and enemy number one with little in between. I'm wondering if maybe I should reach out and apologize. I'm not sure you understand what an apology is for. Apologies are for when you've done something wrong, you know it was wrong, you regret doing it, and are going to try to avoid doing it again. They are not tools for massaging the feelings of people who are upset about something. In this case, you've done nothing wrong, you're just uncomfortable that they're upset. But their upset isn't your fault, and while you can sympathize, you can't apologize. You did nothing wrong. Mum is feeling overwhelmed and emotional. I'm not defending her actions, because she was out of line, but she was obviously struggling with the situation. I'd like to compliment you on your maturity. Your approach and responses are very impressive for someone your age. If your SGL has been going through PND, then she probably isn't a lot of fun from a 2-year-old's perspective. As a grown adult, it is up to her to reflect on the response of her small child. Her child is speaking to her, but rather than listen, it's easier to blame you than do some essential self-reflection. I would stay away for now. Hope your Sil and brother are capable of self-reflection. Perhaps, also speak to your parents and ask for their help. Sil's behavior towards you is unacceptable. As a parent, I would not tolerate a rant like they're against my young adult. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. As a mum, I was feeling for your Sil until she told you to fuck off upstairs, when you were calmly communicating. I get that she's hurt, and as someone who has had PND, I totally get how hard it is to feel rejected or not wanted by your child. But to have a 2-year-old be 30 years old yourself, and not understand that 2-year-olds just do not, also, cannot yet, really give a shit about your feelings is wild. Case in point, my 3-year-old adores me, but I have never felt more bullied in my life than I do by her sometimes. She will tell me she loves me and then 30 seconds later be like, "Damn, why your tummy so big?" When I've just lost 20 kilograms and am the smallest I've ever been upside down face victory hand. Not the asshole, you're 17 and calm the kid down. 2-year-olds are notoriously difficult. You kind of made a mistake, but I attribute it to inexperience. Going forward, don't give the choice of an answer that no one wants to hear. If you give a 2-year-old an opportunity to say no, they will say no. Better to give a choice between 2 positive outcomes. Do you want to sit next to me or grandma?